Alright, we're just going to go through a few questions on how to find the area and perimeter of fractions in circles. Before we start, let's just make sure we recall that the area of a circle, let's see if I can make it a nice circle, there we go, area of a circle equals pi r squared, and we can think of the circumference, that's not too bad, circumference or C equals 2 pi r or pi d. You can use either one, depends if you're given the radius r or the diameter d. And the radius would be this from the center to the outside, and the diameter is from one side to the other side, passing through the middle, and that's the diameter. Okay, so now that that's established, we need to find the area and perimeter. Now we're talking about the perimeter, not the circumference, because we're looking at these fractions of circles, and this formula here will be useful, except we also need to consider the other sides of these fractions of circles. So here we go. To find firstly the area, let's go area first. One way of doing this is to just go pi r squared, which is the area of a circle, divided by 2, because we know a semicircle is just half of a normal circle. So that would be pi times 6, the radius. What would the radius be? The radius would be 3. So r equals 3 centimeters. So let's write that down. Pi times 3 squared over 2 equals pi times 9 divided by 2. Another way of writing that would be to go pi equals, but it would be 4.5 times pi. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go on my calculator, pi times 9 divided by 2 equals 14, let's double check, yeah, 14.137, and I'm going to round that up to 14.1 centimeters squared. Alright, now the next one, I want to work out the circumference and of a circle, halve that, and then add on 6. So let's have a go. Perimeter equals, well, the circumference is 2 pi r or pi d. I'm going to use pi d because we've been given the diameter here. So pi d divided by 2. The reason being that I've only got half of the circle. So let's have a go. And then add on the 6. Add on 6 because we've got this bottom side here which needs to be added on. Okay, so pi times 6 divided by 2 plus 6. Well, that's going to be equal 6 divided by 2. Can cancel that out. It's just pi times 3 plus 6. So type that into your calculator. Pi times 3 plus 6 equals 15.4 centimeters. Don't forget the units. And notice that the units are different for area and perimeter, because for area we have to have the square, but not for perimeter. Perimeter is just the length around the semicircle. Okay, I'm just going to write semicircle. Alright, this is a quarter. So let's have a go at this one. Oh, and also to get better marks in tests, you'd actually respond to the question. So therefore, the perimeter is 15.4 centimeters and the area is 14.1 centimeters squared. Now you don't need to do that on your worksheet because it's pretty small, but just keep that in mind if you want to get better marks to write down a summary sentence. Okay, let's start with the area again. I hope I've got enough room. I might actually move, if I can, move that one a bit to the side. Okay, so we've got the area here. I'm going to start area equals pi r squared, and I'm going to divide this one by 4 because I've got a quarter of a circle. So divide by 4, and I've got pi times, I've been given the radius this time, so it's just 3 squared over 4, and area equals, can I simplify that anymore? Not really, but I'm just going to write this so that it's clearer what I've typed into my calculator. So you type pi times 9 divided by 4, and that equals 7.0685, and so 7.06858 keeps going. What I'm going to do is I'm going to round this up to the nearest decimal, so that's going to be, if it was 0.06, that's greater than 5, so I make this 7.1 centimeters squared. Now perimeter, that's going to be the area around, so around here, around there, and around here. So all of that is the perimeter. Okay. Perimeter equals circumference divided by 4, because it's only a quarter of the circumference. So let's go 2 pi r divided by 4 plus 2 times 3, because this side is 3 and that side is 3. Both sides are 3. That's what the green dashes mean. There's only one green dash on each side, so that says that they're equal. Okay, so let's cancel out the 2 and the 4 to make it a bit simpler. So that would be 2 there. So let's just rewrite it so it's easier to type into our calculator. And let's also put in what that radius is. I should have done that. So pi times, that is the radius there. Sorry guys, just going to make it. Alright, pi times 3 over 2. So we've cancelled out the extra stuff, and we've put in the radius here. And then let's go plus 6. Alright, hopefully that's not too confusing. Type this one in, type that into your calculator, and then add on the 6 afterwards. So go pi times 3 divided by 2 equals 4.7 plus 6 equals approximately 10.7. Now we're not going to write all those decimals because that doesn't make any sense, does it? Because we haven't actually measured our circle to that exact measurement. So we just write it to one decimal place. That's good enough for now. So therefore, the perimeter is 10.7 centimeters, and the area is 7.1 centimeters squared. So there we go. Alright, let's go for a bigger fraction of a circle. 3/4. Oh, that's a bit silly. So we're going back to this. Okay, 3/4 of a circle. Now, to do 3/4, it's a little bit trickier, but not too bad. Let's start with our area. The area equals pi r squared. Now this is divided by 4, because if we look at this, it is actually 3/4. So that's 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, which is 3/4. Let's write that down. 1 divided by 4 plus 1 divided by 4 plus 1 divided by 4 equals 3 divided by 4. That's how you add up fractions. So 3/4, so I need to times it by 3. So that's one way of writing it. An alternative way of writing it would be that, I'll write it over here, area equals 3/4 times, so 3/4 times the area of a circle. I just think that this over here makes a bit more sense, but up to you which one you use. Okay, so I'm going to write down what the radius is. The radius is the 4, so I'm going to go pi times, I'll write this 4 squared over 4, because it's 4 quarters, times by 3. And then we've got pi times 16 over 4 times 3. Alright, we can cancel out. Let's go green. We can cancel this and that a bit, because 4 goes into 4 once and 4 goes into 16 4 times. So we're left with 4 pi times by 3. Well, we can still simplify that further. We can actually say, well, 3 times 4 is 12, so it's 12 pi. Because you want to see 4 pi is the same as writing 4 times pi. And if we have 4 pi times 3, that's the same as writing 4 times pi times 3. So we can rearrange the order, and that will make it easier for us to see. 4 times 3 times pi, so it equals 12 pi. Alright, I'll leave that for a sec, and then I'm just going to type that into the calculator. So 12 times pi equals 37.7, or just so that we keep remembering how to round up, 699. This is greater than 5, so that 6 becomes a 7. So 37.7 centimeters. Oh, I don't have a unit here. I'm going to write a unit. It's going to be meters. Let's do something different. Let's go meters squared. So, alright. So the area of the 3/4 of this fraction is 37.7 meters squared. Alright, if we were to do it this way, you would end up with the same result. 3/4 times pi times 4 squared, 3/4 times pi times 16, and you just find the same answer. Alright, oops, this cancels out 4, so we could then have a 4 here, so it would end up being 12 pi, same as before. Alright, pause the video if you wanted to see that a bit longer. We're going to look at the perimeter now. So the perimeter equals 3/4, we're going to do it this way, 3/4 times the circumference, which is 2 pi r, and then add on this side and add on that side. That would be 8 plus 8, but I'll just write down in full, times r, or times 2r, because this is the radius just there. Okay, so 3/4 times 2 times pi times 4 plus 2 times 4. Okay, next one, I've got 3/4 times pi. Now I'm going to put, going to just rearrange this. So I'll do step by step, but you might be able to do this a bit faster if you've practiced it. Okay, but I am going to simplify. 2 times 4 is 8. And notice that I'm going to keep separate. There we go. Likes to just jump around. Keep separate this side over here from that side, because there's a plus sign in the middle and I can't multiply them together. So let's have a go. I can make this an 8 here. Times 8 pi. Sorry, not sure how many steps you'd like me to show, but you don't need to show all of these once you've understood it. And if we cancel this out, 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 twice. 3/1 is the same as just writing 3, so 3 times 2 times pi plus 8 equals 6 pi plus 8. Alright, that's a lot of steps. I'll show you how to do it faster later, but just type into calculator 6 times pi plus 8, and you get the answer of 26.8. Or you'd get the answer 26.8495. This is less than 5, so we just leave it as the 8. And don't forget our units. Our units are meters, because perimeter is measured in length, so it's just straight old meters. Now, if you want to do this just a bit faster, you could just simply type into your calculator. So perhaps let's go here. So if we went the fast way, perimeter equals 3 times, let's go, type into calculator 3 divided by 4 times by 8 pi, because we know that 2 times 4 is 8, and then add on the 8. And I think it should come up with the same answer. Sometimes it gets a bit confused if you have, it's easy to make mistakes if you type in too much. But just type that into calculator, and yes, it does come up. I'll show you what you type into calculator. P equals 3 divided by 4 times by 8 times by pi and plus 8. So type that into calculator, and you get 26.8 meters. So you can see that it's a lot less steps, but I just wanted to show you for the first time. Alright, thank you for listening to all of that, and I will be in touch. Okay, bye-bye.